Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 598. I'm Brian Cohen from Best Page Forward, joined by dark romance author with over 100 books, Angel Lawson. How are you today, Angel?
I'm doing good.
Oh, good.
I'm doing pretty good.
We had a funny moment prior to recording last week's episode. The cleaners were there. They're vacuuming and they only come when you're on something that needs to be recorded.
I feel like this correlates with your question of what's one thing you want to outsource in your author business.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
The cleaners coming once a month is something that I enjoy outsourcing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that counts in my author business, but I work from home. So
I
that
absolutely
counts, right?
think it counts as your author business because you're getting your office cleaned.
Yes.
And since you work from home, your home is your office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we had some interesting answers with that one. Shane Kawalilak said, nothing would help my author business more than outsourcing my day job.
There you
I
go.
like that. AI, no, just kidding. Eric Stevens said, definitely the final formatting and uploading of both digital and paperback files. I can do it, but feel like it's a time drain. I feel like there's probably someone on Upwork or Fiverr that might be reasonable, Eric, but I know budget's challenging. And Susan Tigman Hawthorne said, everything except the writing. And I think that goes back to something we were talking about last week. Good answers, everybody. There's gonna maybe be a time where you outsource more, but you're always gonna have to learn. You're always gonna have to be plugged in to make self-publishing work.
Yep.
Which is so annoying, right?
It's super annoying. I mean, yeah, it's hard, and finding the right people to help is also hard, because I really do think you need to learn how to do everything. But here's something I finally did after years and years.
Yeah.
Is I've had the same PA since about 2018, I think.
Oh wow,
and
nice.
I do all my own uploading of files and whatever. I do most of that kind of thing. She does my newsletter. She helps with promotions and stuff like that. But I did finally go to her and I said, can you start uploading these books to Ingram? I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it.
Ingram is a pain, yeah.
And she does it, and it's amazing.
Oh,
so
that's great.
That's just some time, and it's really more of a mental load.
Right.
It's not even the time, it's just the mental load. I just didn't want to learn it. I know I can learn it. I know I can do it, but I just didn't want to.
Yeah. I get it. I absolutely get it. And I think that, we all have the ability to at least just take the thing we hate the most and question, do we need to be the ones doing it?
Yeah.
And that can be anything from your house to something specific in your author business. Do I, yes, of course, I could do this and save $20, but at this point, should I just hand over the $20?
Yeah, I think so. And then I'm going to go back and say this, that if you think that the one thing you want to outsource is the writing, then we have a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think most authors I speak with don't. That isn't something
I don't
they
think
want to
so
outsource.
either.
But yeah, I think mostly it's the marketing. And that's why they're listening here to us. Definitely go check out Angel's books, over 100 books, dark romance. Go check them out on Amazon or wherever fine books are sold. And my mastermind group, Best Page Forward's mastermind groups, our Groundbreakers program, which has no income requirement of any kind. 6 months of coaching with a wonderful mastermind group. You get access to our author ad school program the whole time. And then Pathfinders, the group that I coach, $2,500 or higher in royalties. I'm really jazzed. I have someone who is right now on pace for a $20,000 month. Last month was their first $10,000 plus month. Prior to that, I think their best was like $5,000. So I love it. It feels good. I like helping people to reach new levels. It feels like it's a different thing than I've hit new levels for my business, hit 7 figures last year for the first time. I like hitting levels. I feel better when I have someone else hit a lower level than what I've hit. But like they've hit a mark. And
I think
excited.
That there are definite like specific marks in this business that are for real. There's the $500 and then the $1,000 or like maybe 1,000 KU reads a day. Or I remember going through those phases. And then for me, it was my like anxiety was like, can I maintain it?
Of course.
Can I not go back? And it is interesting. Like it builds and there's momentums and there's still ups and downs, but it's almost like you hit some of these and you can keep it because you learn the business as you're growing.
Yes.
And the more you learn, the more that foundation of toolbox that you can just keep pulling out your tools and figure out how to keep it maintaining. I think. I know things happen, but yeah.
Of course, things happen, but more often than not, and I feel bad saying this when I know some people are having a down year for book sales. More often than not, when sales are down, there are reasons. That aren't just the world.
Yeah. Yes.
More often than not, it's either the something with the ads went funky, or the release schedule got a little held up, or the tropes aren't as sharp as they were in a previous iteration, and it stinks because no one wants to be the problem,
right?
But usually there is a problem.
You forgot to post on social media,
right?
And Instagram for weeks.
Right.
I mean, I do it. I will be like, I just don't feel like doing it.
Yep.
And then I'm like, what am I doing? This is dumb. It's free.
Exactly.
What's wrong with me?
Yeah. I'm right there with you. But let's go into the top story of the week. Speaking of publicity here, poor podcast publicity. When Amy McNee, the author of We Need Your Art, got booked for her dream podcast, Jay Shetty's, with 4.6 million subscribers, she, her publisher, and her entire team were on top of the world anticipating big things. Unfortunately, said McNee on her Substack, quote, there was no increase in book sales. I sold 308 copies the week the podcast went out, a little under the 311 I sold the week before. I didn't get an increase in followers either, end quote. It's not just McNee. In fact, her story is fairly common in the author community. Book a podcast or YouTube audience with a big interview with a big audience, have a blog tour, or even do a book signing at a popular bookstore, only to find out that it didn't make an impact. One problem may be that the book wasn't aligned with the needs of the podcast audience. As Jane Friedman points out in the Bottom Line newsletter, quote, I see few indications that Shetty's listeners are the type of people who have existential trouble pursuing their art or creative writing life. Shetty's key demographic isn't artists and writers. They appear to be a broad-ranging self-improvement crowd, end quote. But even better alignment might not be enough, as one of McNee's commenters shared, quote, having worked for a podcast for 3 years, one of the things that I was really surprised to learn is how little impact they have versus what you would assume they do. No matter how big the podcast, they're pretty ineffective at moving product and getting people to act, end quote. So what would sell more books? Quote, I'd try to find a way to partner her up with someone like Julia Cameron, Anne Lamott, Austin Kleon, or another beacon of light for artists and writers dealing with self-sabotage and the stress of our current socio-political environment, says Friedman. As for McNee herself, she now suggests focusing time and energy on consistency. Quote, creative success so very rarely comes from blowing up. It comes from small wins, accumulated over a long time. Overnight success is the story of very few artists. Tiny breaks that accumulate over a long time happen to many creatives. So I love that she points out the consistency here at the end, because very few of us, I don't know anyone who's had one viral video and then they're set for their career.
No.
So what stuck out here? Yeah.
I never have viral videos. I'm not really great at TikTok and stuff. And I actually had a viral video last week. Nothing like crazy big, but big enough. And it totally boosted book 1 in the series higher than I think it's been almost all year.
Nice.
Like and this is an older book 1. Yeah. It was great. And there's more books in, there's 10 books in the series. So there's a lot of room in there to earn some money or whatever. But that was less than a week ago, and it's already
back down to normal levels.
Going back down to normal. So I view stuff like that as just like, that's just icing on the cake. That's not the cake.
Yeah, you gotta bake the cake, and the cake needs ingredients.
Yes. So I think consistency is so important.
I had a moment, like McNee mentions. I was working with Pat Flynn, who runs a popular nonfiction podcast, Smart Passive Income podcast, and he has a big audience too, millions of subscribers. And I had all set up, because I'm nonfiction, so it's a little different. Like, I set up the landing page from a gift that I mentioned on the show. And I was like, I'm going to get 10,000 people are going to sign up for this gift. They're going to join my mailing list. They're going to do ad school and all this stuff. And it just didn't happen.
Right.
We got a few people to sign up through that link, but very little actually happened from that. And it's because someone's listening in their car. They're not typing along. They're not necessarily going to go follow up on that. And so, look, brand awareness is a good thing to have, but a giant podcast appearance, a giant TikTok live, a giant whatever, it isn't going to make or break. And so many people are always looking for the one thing that's going to get them there. Consistency is the one thing.
Yeah. Consistency is in just creating and doing the work and putting the work out there. As soon as I saw Jay Shetty, I've listened to Jay Shetty, and he falls under my bro.
Bro marketer.
He's not the worst bro, but he falls under the health bro. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. But you know what's funny is I actually listened to Anne Lamott on a similar health podcast, and I remember several years ago, and I remember thinking, what is she doing on here? This is so weird.
That's so funny.
It was such a weird mix, because they're usually talking about supplements and working out and going gluten-free, and all of a sudden this author is talking about growing up in this creative environment and writing books and whatever. I don't know. So
yeah, they had to fill the spot.
I think you got to pick your audience for sure.
Yeah. So into the hot potatoes of wisdom questions. What would you say, Angel, are some specific things authors can do if they decide to stop just trying to blow things up and focus instead on consistency and making these tiny breaks?
What specific things I can do if they decide? I think just building the foundation is really, really important. And one thing that I've talked about before, probably at least on like Facebook groups and stuff, is, a lot of people lament that their Facebook groups, their author groups are not engaged, or they're not growing, or they're not interesting.
Right.
And I definitely went through that over the years, where it kind of would they would be excited at a release, and then it would get really still. And I would have some readers that, that would help me out by kind of posting or whatever. But what I found out is that when I did have a blow up, when I did have a big release, that group was there and it was waiting, and they were all in. The people who had been there had been waiting for the day, and then all the new people are so excited to find the community. So I think you just have to kind of keep going. You keep building. You keep posting on your Instagram. You keep trying to figure out what it is that you want to put out there. Obviously, the writing, the engagement. Like, I think you just have to keep it going. So that you're ready for the blowing up, because having the blow up and not being ready and not having an infrastructure, then I don't really know what the point is, because it's going to be easy to lose.
Right. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. You've got a question for me.
Okay. If authors want to go on shows to promote their books, how can they decide if the show would be a good fit for their book?
I get a lot of emails, Angel.
I bet.
I get a lot of emails from people who say they want to be on the show, and they're usually authors trying to sell a book, and this isn't a good audience for that. We're just trying to teach authors. We want people to learn, and so I think it helps when you listen to the show. So listen to the show. Yes, you're going to have to take that time. Listen to the show. This is probably a better fit for nonfiction than fiction. And then reach out. Don't just assume. Like, a lot of people are like, I can talk about these 5 topics. And it's like, I've never talked about those 5 topics on the show ever. Thank you for the copy paste.
Right.
Let's move on with our lives.
Yeah.
So
I think that's true. Yeah. I think, there's kind of like that place where as fiction writers, unless Oprah or Reese Witherspoon decides to, or Jenna Bush, right? She's got a book club. Unless it's somebody with a book club in your genre, it's probably not really gonna help you out. Yeah,
I have to agree. Let's move on to the lightning round. That means lightning sound number 2 is coming at you, Angel. You can do the same sound. You can do something different. Totally up to you.
I just am not good at these sounds, Bryan. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I can't make it go from my head through my mouth.
Okay, I understand.
I'll just do like a crash.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, because there often is a crash.
Yeah.
You're right. Last week we talked about kind of the most important writing decision and craft change for your author business. This week I want to ask you, what do you think was your most important marketing decision that led to more success?
I definitely think it's my co-writer designed our book covers, and she did a fantastic job of kind of like meeting the current trend, and I think elevating it to a little bit of a higher level, to the point that there are now very similar covers that started coming out after this that are, I don't want to use the word copycat, but created a trend. And and this, like I said last time, it's kind of about leaning into what you are putting out there creatively, like trying to do that. And I think a lot of people probably do that way better than I do. Like, I see some TikTok accounts or Instagram accounts that are so curated in such a great way, and you see it and you immediately know who it is and what their vibe is and all of that, which is awesome. I don't think I'm quite that tight. I'm not as great at crossing it over, but I do think that holding tight to that, especially at the beginning, was really important. I think as you grow, though, you can start to kind of expand on those ideas.
That totally makes sense. Awesome. You got a question for me?
Yes. When does it make sense to focus your existing marketing, and when does it make sense to learn something new?
There's always someone talking about something new, right? Every single person, whether it's an author saying, hey, I tried this and it worked, or someone selling a course, I think you have to really look inside yourself. I think, yes, you can look at the numbers, but you got to look inside yourself and you got to say, like, do I have the space to learn something new? When I think about if I did this action every day, would I enjoy it? Because if the answer is I don't have the space and I wouldn't enjoy it, it's okay to let something go. You don't have to learn every single thing. It's okay to just focus on a few things here and there.
I agree. It's really hard to be spread out over so many areas.
Yeah. You get spread thin.
Yes.
You get spread thin. So, Angel, how do you continue to market your extensive back catalog? Very extensive.
So I do. So when the series that I have that's like a bestseller and everything, my Royals of Forsythia series got so big, I started looking at my backlist and I was like, backlist, you are not carrying your weight.
Yep.
You are not doing what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
So I kind of set my own like mental, I'll go ahead and say it. I made a mental goal that I wanted my backlist to provide a 6-figure career.
Okay.
Income. Completely separate from what I would call my front list.
Yeah.
Now some of the backlist to me it's really more my solo books, which I release like 1 to 2 solo books a year, and then one of the bigger series, 1 to 2 of the bigger series. But so those kind of go in it a little bit more into that number. But I just try to keep rotating some ads on them, see what works. I try to post social media videos, images, that kind of thing. I actually have somebody that does I only have one creator for me or TikTok, but that's what I have them do, is they focus on some of my backlist work. And because that just takes a little bit off of me to have to do so many things. And I make sure to highlight those books on my TikTok shop. I make sure to highlight them if I'm doing a signing. And something I've been doing more and more is I've been creating special editions out of those backlist books.
Nice.
Usually into like an omnibus, and having those at signings and selling them direct. Because the people who read them originally are excited to see them in a special edition. And then it's new people, new readers are excited to have something. It's just sort of a different kind of packaging. So I just try not to forget them, really.
Right. I think that's good. I think that segues well into this next question from you to me.
Yes. Oh wait, I have to make sure I did.
Second to last one.
I see it. Should you market your books evenly or focus just on your best-selling series?
So I think, what Angel just described is almost thinking of these as two parts. You've got your thing that sells the most and you've got your backlist. You kind of have to be a little more creative with your backlist to make it profitable sometimes. Yeah. But if you have, let's say you have 3 savings accounts. You have one, you put in $1, you get $1.25 back. You have another, you put in $1, you get $1.50 back, which is still a really good savings account. And then you have another savings account that you put in $1 and you get $4 back. Should you focus on them evenly? Absolutely not. 80-20 rule, put 80% of the marketing into the thing that can give you the highest return. Right. Because that's the thing that is going to lead to the most profitability. That is absolutely the thing to focus on. And so I highly, highly recommend that you consider, I don't need all of my children, my book children, to be superstars. I have one, and that's the one that's going to help me retire.
Yeah, they don't need to be superstars. They do need to clean up after themselves.
Yep.
And make sure they are worthy members of the family. They gotta contribute.
They can't embarrass the family name.
They need to contribute just a little. And even then, not everybody contributes. But
yeah, of course.
When you have as many books as I have, and as long a time, I have sort of worked my way through some different genres, and there's some that are just so disconnected from where I am today that those are freeloaders. They're freeloaders.
And you might have a few freeloaders. You can't make it so the squeaky wheel gets all the grease.
No, they just don't get anything.
They get nothing.
They get to sit on the shelf.
Yep.
Like on the bottom. And we appreciate them for what they are, but they don't get any extra love. No. Mm-mm.
Exactly. I 100% agree.
And the other thing is those backlist books. So, we talk about having a big backlist. And the whole point of the big backlist is so that when the reader gets done with your front list, they have something else to go to. Right. So you do want to be able to give them something that looks like you take care of it.
Yeah.
And is relatable and leads in. And so those are the ones. I do think you're right. It's like having three different accounts, and you do focus primarily on your big one, and then you have like your next one that's adjacent, and then you've got your other. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's really important to not forget them entirely.
Sure.
It's just easy. Yeah. It's just, again, there's only so much time. It's a time issue. Mm-hmm.
Really, more than anything. Yeah, I absolutely agree. So last question of the lightning round, Angel. What's your number one piece of advice for authors to go from languishing in sales to actually seeing some real progress?
Oh boy, that's a hard one.
I know. We can think of what's the first thing you'd have them do.
The first thing I would do is really make sure the content in the cover and your author page, like your Amazon page, are really meeting the standards of the genre you're trying to be successful in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everybody says that because it's just true.
Right. A cliche is a cliche for a reason.
Yeah. It's just true.
Yeah.
Because the truth is this, when you're off, I think you know it. Mm-hmm. I can look back and go, I can't come up with a solid trope list. Like how in romance, we make our little trope graphics.
The little graphics with the arrows. Yep.
If you can't make a solid trope graphic, it's time to reconsider.
Yes. I like to tell, and I think people don't like when I say this. They tell me a story idea, and I'm like, great, find 10 that sell well that are just like that.
Right. Yeah.
And they hate that.
Yeah.
But it is just, it's how it has to be.
It's the lesson we all have to learn.
Oh yeah.
It's the lesson we all have to learn.
People don't always like to hear it, but they have to learn it themselves to get through this.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We need a question of the week here. So Angel, we've had some really interesting questions even just in here. So thank you to Roland Denzel for coming up with the questions and all this week. What do you want to ask our intrepid author listeners here? Even if it's just the subject, if it's just the idea, the kernel of an idea.
I want to know. I always want to know the answer to the question you asked me. How do you continue to market your back catalog? Because I might be missing some stuff.
Yeah, I like this. We can ask, how do you continue to market your back catalog as you release new books?
Because it's really hard.
It's really hard. Absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely, guys. You can answer the question of the week over at sellmorebookshow.com or the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group. Go read Angel Lawson's books. She's got so many that you could start reading hers and just keep reading them forever.
Yeah, and if you're scared of the dark romance, I've got some lighter stuff in there too. So just poke around. Yeah.
Yeah, go check it out, guys. It's been such a delight having you here these last 2 weeks, Angel. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Of course. Good. Folks, remember, if you want to get some hand-holding, you want to get some coaching, you want to get someone who cares about your author journey, looking over your shoulder for 6 months, which could be me if you're at that level, just go find the application form link over at the Sell More Book Show Facebook group or sellmorebookshow.com. But it is always a delight getting to do this show for you guys. We're big fans of you. And so definitely be back here next week for another wonderful guest co-host as we count down to number 600. So for Angel, I'm Bryan. Have a great week of book selling, everybody. And we'll talk to you for episode 599. Bye, everyone.
Bye.